Katie Miller's dirty little Doge secret just got out. Katie Miller is panicking as her dirty little Doge past is leaking everywhere. And she's hidden this for months. Some may even say she's hidden it for 9 months.
That is just something why I love this administration, our leaders at this department, is because not a single day has someone said you can't. They have said, go have more babies and we'll make it work for you.
Katie Miller is on this baby kick, and she's volunteering her vessel as tribute. And if you can look past the makeup, the raccoon eyes in this clip, you may have seen that there's been a lot of chatter in certain corners of the internet right now because Katie's Doge files are coming out. And because her and Stephen Little Bitch Miller can never stay out of the spotlight, and the timing could not be worse for them, because while something from her past is slowly creeping into the light, like Stephen Miller seeing the sun and hissing at it, Katie is out here posting unhinged takes about lawn signs on Fox News, of course, and she's going viral for all the wrong reasons on Mother's Day, and she's desperately trying to save her little podcast that nobody's listening to.
Healthy children can do a lot better not being vaccinated.
Yes. And if you've been paying attention, and I mean like really paying attention, she's been dropping clues the whole time. She made her bed when she married Stephen Miller on purpose. But what's coming out and coming to the surface right now from inside Doge, from inside a birthing canal, it's very interesting. So why is she coming to the defense tweeting about Elon Musk and his businesses nonstop with a kissy face on Mother's Day? That's the part nobody here is really talking about yet. And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube at the time of this. And we are in the top charts on Spotify, and we've reclaimed our lead over Katie Miller. But we need your help in reaching those next milestones. So wherever you watch or listen, hit subscribe, follow, turn those notifications on, leave a comment, 6 words or more, hype, please save or share. Consider every action a safety barrier around you. You never know what Stephen Little Bitch Miller is going to be scurrying across your ceiling. So let's start at the lawn sign meltdown. This week, Katie Miller went on Laura Ingraham and said, and I need you to actually hear this.
For a group that claims to be all about compassion and tolerance, they're the most intolerant people on the face of the planet. What message is sending our kids?
The most intolerant people are the ones who have the lawn signs that say hate has no home here. That's exactly where hate has a home in America.
A lawn sign on national television. She's losing her mind about a lawn sign. This is a woman in bed with immigration enforcement, married the architect of the family separation policy. So of course, Stephen Miller sees a hate has no home sign and takes it personally, as he should. But like, listen, she's totally rage baiting here. She's doing anything to try to get her ratings up. It's not working. And all this is going down while Stephen Miller is likely scurrying across the West Wing ceiling at 3 a.m. Let me read you some tweets. Jojo from Jersey. She's even uglier pregnant. Katie Miller is a demon just like her husband. Can you imagine being their kid? Oof. Banging a Nazi really paid off for Katie Miller. I'm sorry, but when somebody grapes children and blows up an elementary school, they deserve all the hate. CJ Johnson. But notice what she's not talking about in this clip. She's not talking about Doge. She's not talking about why she left. She's not talking about Elon, and that's very intentional. All of this while Stephen Miller is home with a jar of mayonnaise, curtains drawn, wondering why his neighbors keep running him out of town. And can you blame her for wanting a little excitement in her life? The Katie Miller podcast is not doing well. 2.1 stars on Spotify, not ranking in the Apple top 200 or across any category. The press has called it dreary and excruciating. And listen, I watch clips so you don't have to. And what's wild is that between asking guests whether a hot dog is a sandwich and discussing French onion soup in restaurants in DC, she keeps doing this thing where she almost lets something slip and then she pulls back. The one time any of her podcasts got any views was when Elon Musk came on in December. It had 300 times more viewers than her average episode. 300 times. And yet they're not exactly close anymore. Or are they?
What's your current position on God?
God is the creator.
You don't believe in God, though, do you?
Well, I believe this universe came from something.
So why did Elon agree to come on? And why after did things still feel so off between them? Wink, wink. If you're listening, hold on to that one. I'm going to show you in a second. Today's episode is brought to you by Brickhouse Nutrition. Everyone's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering your blood sugar and reducing appetite. So what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in those painful weekly injections? Especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects. That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean. The results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Let's get you started today with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Visit takelean.com and enter code Lauren. That's Loren for your discount. That's promo code Loren at takelean.com. Okay, so all of this is going down. It's all happening, and she's posting this on Mother's Day.
Katie Miller sent out a Mother's Day post this year on X with a kissy face emoji in response to X leadership creating a Mother's Day react button.
Why is Katie Miller tweeting this on Mother's Day? Is this how satanic, evil loser lords flirt with tech product integrations? What's with the kissy face? Did he do that for her? Comments are fantastic. You still had to sleep with Stephen Miller. And it's a gif of a very disturbed woman. Then another one. Then why doesn't the administration support families? How are our tax dollars paying for Israel's war helping mothers? How do mothers feel whose boys are in the Middle East right now fighting for Israel? You're a hypocritical, miserable punt. Feminism is freedom to act less like an animal who has traditionally been bred and more like an intelligent, free entity who can choose when to reproduce and who to reproduce with. Shout out to Nathan. Being a Nazi mom isn't the flex you're looking for, brown-eyed Susan. This is a woman who admits on her own podcast that she needs to work for her mental health, who travels presumably with a nanny and a team, who spent her 20s chasing power, like a cleat chaser, but with power and with Stephen Little Bitch Miller, that pale white nationalist. Her classmates back in Florida described her as cold and calculating. Calculating things like this, the math on Elon, her old boss's business, and tweeting about it on Mother's Day weekend. The tradwife thing is a costume, and costumes exist to hide something. So who is Katie Miller actually? This part is where we start heating up about what was really going on between her and Elon. Before DOGE, she was a DHS spokesperson. Before that, Senator Steve Daines' comms person. Before that, the National Republican Senatorial Committee. Her career, she spent a lot of time working for some of the most aggressive, uncompromising, difficult, awful men in American politics. She was a DHS spokesperson when Stephen Miller was building the family separation policies. She handled that. She handled Trump, and she did all of that with the shit grin on her face. So when she gets to DOGE, working directly under Elon Musk, what was so different? What happened inside that building or inside Katie Miller that wasn't bad enough for her to leave? And then when she did leave in May 2025, why did everything between Elon and Stephen Little Bitch Miller get a little sideways? Here's what we know for a fact. Katie leaves DOGE, and almost immediately, Elon Musk ostentatiously unfollows Stephen Little Bitch Miller on X. And listen, in DC and in tech, and probably in like most societies and cultures, following the people you work with is just... it's a courtesy. It's a professional courtesy. You don't have to like their posts. You don't have to care about them. You don't even have to like them, but you follow them back as a courtesy because unfollowing them is an act of ego violence. It's the equivalent of like just looking the other way or not saying hi back to a colleague in a hallway when they're saying hello to you. It's pretty deliberate and it's a deeply personal act of hostility. By cutting ties with Stephen the second Katie moved out of his inner circle, Elon turned a professional transition into a private war. And here's where things really start to show. Bright corners of the internet, people who have been following this recall the photos. There are also photos, shots of Elon with an unexplained black eye right as the DOGE partnership with Katie Miller began to crumble. Was it a martial arts accident or was there a physical receipt of a high stakes confrontation? Katie loves a-holes. She's only ever known working for them. Or if you count anal polyps, she's also married to one. We're talking about navigating rooms full of difficult, powerful, air quotes, men. And it's important to point out that none of these relationships have ended with this type of explosive severance. And none of them, definitely zero of them, ended with ongoing flirting and defensiveness of their businesses online. So what exactly happened between Katie Miller and Elon Musk inside DOGE? Did they make a baby? What was really with that podcast body language? Because that podcast and that body language, oh boy, you could cut the tension with a knife. So why did Katie Miller suddenly become the center of the storm that left the world's richest, most asshole man looking bruised? I want to know what you think. Do you think that there's something going on? Do you think we're going to have a Musk baby? A Musk Miller baby from hell? Ugh. Make sure you subscribe. We'll continue to dig in here. We'll be back with more.